Hi there, and welcome to your 2023 Wildwood 273 Qbxlx. We're going to start it off in the back corner of the bumper here. Pull the cap out. Just take note of these two ears. These two ears will hook onto your sewer cap. To the left of that, you have your cable satellite hook up. Here you have your stabilizer jacks. From these stabilizer jacks, there's a bar in the front compartment. You just hook it up to this, unhook the safety chain, run it to the ground, and it'll take away any sway you have in the unit that you see right now. From there, you have your power inlet. Just take note of that ear there. It matches up with this ear on the bottom here. Stick it on there, give it that 8th turn, and then you got a threaded collar to lock it down. Down from there, you have your standard 30 amp plug-in. We do include with the trailer in the front compartment a 15 amp adapter, so that if you're at home and you want to run the fridge, or your campsite doesn't happen to have 30 amp power, just keep in mind when you're going down to 15 amp power that you're not going to be able to run things like your AC. You just be able to run basic things like lights and fridge and stuff like that. To the left here, you have your sewer outlet. Just take this cap, give it a little twist. See those ears there? The same ears that are on your sewer hose. They just line up with these notches, give it that twist, locks it in place. Whenever you're emptying your sewer, you're always going to want to do your black water first. Your black water comes from your toilet, which is your dirtiest water, and then you'll hit it with the gray water, because the gray water comes from your showers and sinks. Wash out that smelly hose a little bit. Take a step down to the unit here. Just your front compartment here. In here you have your 20-foot, 5-foot water hose. You also have your coupler pin and your breakaway cable quick latch and the 15 amp adapter I told you about. There's a 30 amp end and there's the 15 amp end to go in any household plug. Down from there, you do have stabilizer jacks in the front as well. It works the same as the back. Your front tongue jack, that top button turns on your light. Bottom button, up is up, down is down. You have your battery disconnect. With your battery disconnect turned to the on position, the battery's connected. With it turned to the off position, the battery's disconnected from the unit. In here is your propane tank, your two 20-pound propane tanks. You just open this up. It's just just like your household barbecue. You just turn the knobs, turn it, open the flow of propane into the unit. You always want to close these whenever you're traveling or leaving the unit for a while. In this black box here is your battery. This, you'll notice the brackets there. This customer did opt to go with weight distribution, which you'll also find in this compartment here. Right here, you have your hot water heater little access port. You just take that latch, flip it center. This is your main drain plug. If you ever go to fire up, whenever you go to fire up your hot water heater, you always just want to give that little release valve. Make sure that water, right now, obviously there's no water in the tank, so there's no water that came out, so you wouldn't want to be firing your hot water tank. You'll burn out any probes that are in there. I'll go over a reset button inside, and the button I'm referring to is just right here. Right beside your hot water heaters, your fresh water inlet. Take this cap off. You fill your fresh water tank, which your water pump draws off of. Underneath here, you see this is your fresh water drain. Just pull that plug, water starts making its way out. You have your furnace exhaust. Always try to, whenever you're running your furnace, make sure you're not blocking this because it is an exhaust, blows out hot air, you'll burn anything in front of it. Right up top here, you have your range stove exhaust. You just always, whenever you get your campsite, you just want to open up that flap. It just opens up nice and easy there. That way you can let the fumes that you're trying to get out. And just to close that up, you just push on those knobs, closes it up, just stops any dust from getting in there whenever you're traveling. Right here you have a coax for if you have a TV outside, as well as an exterior plugs. Inside this compartment here, you have your little kitchen area. You have your griddle, which has your hose for your propane. So on the back of the stove, the little griddle, you have a thing. You just pull the collar back, click it on. Oh, didn't go on there. Pull the collar back, click it on. That's on there. Then you just take this, run it to your quick connect at the back of the unit. Whenever you're using this quick connect, you always want to make sure the valve's positioned the way it is now. That's with the flow of propane off, which allows you to connect that coupler. Once that's connected, you can open up the flow of propane. To light that, there's an igniter switch. You just turn on the gas, hit the igniter switch. Now you'll notice you can't undo that clip as an added safety feature, so you always have to close the propane. Then you can undo it, disconnect it, throw that dust cap on there. Go to the top, disconnect it there. I always twist them up, plug them into themselves. That way there's no debris getting into it. In your stove goes. You do have a little 110 mini fridge. And inside the mini fridge, you find your exterior little hose, garden water hose. To hook that up, you see those two ears on the edge there. You notice there's a slot for them on here. You just run them in, give it that turn, locks it in. Then you have your cold water. No hot water out of this. This fridge does only run on 110, so it will not run while you're traveling. The back of the unit, you have your spare tire. You are pre-wired for an observation camera, and you have a pre-mount for a Lippard set of stairs to go up to the roof. You'll notice here you have a city water connection. If you have a site with service, you just hook a garden hose up to there, pressurizes all your lines. No need to run your water pump. Here you have your black tank flush. So whenever your sewer's connected, keep that black. If you notice like a smell or debris between the probes, just hook up a garden hose here, have your black tank open, turn on that water. It flushes out the tank, getting rid of all that debris inside the probes and rinsing out your tanks. To get inside the unit here, you just lift that assist handle, turn it 90 degrees, door pops open. To get your stair set down, you just pull that blue lever, slide them out. We're a little tight for space here, so you just gotta ease it down. You do have adjustable stairs on here, so depending on your campsite needs, you can adjust those feet to where you need them. Take a step on inside. First thing you notice on your left is your basic fire extinguisher. That's just simple. Pull the pin and shoot. On here, you'll notice you do have solar. This is just your solar controller, so you can select between your battery type, which we are at an AGM battery, and then you can see your amps, your volts, what you're charging at, and what your battery is at, as well as down here you have your monitor panel. You hit that battery button. We're currently C for charging, G would be good, F would be fair, and L would be low. And then you have your fresh, which is 2/3, a third, empty and full. Black and gray says the same thing. Water pump switch on the left, water heater switch on the right beside that. Whenever you turn this on, it's going to go through the sequence 3 times. You'll hear a clicking. If on the third try it doesn't light, this DSI fault light will stay on. That's when you turn this switch off. You go to the water pump, hit that black button I was telling you about, and then turn the switch back on, and it'll try and reignite itself. We don't want that to light right now because there's no water in the tank. On the left, you have your awning light switch, and on the right does the back little accent light above the slide out. To turn the actual lights on, you just hit the dimmer switch. You can also dim the lights with this switch by just holding it, and the lights will go as bright as they can go. And then they'll go darker. We want them as bright as they can go. On your right is your slide out switch, so you just hit that button down, slide out will make its way out. You know the slide out's fully extended when you hear the whines of the motor and the clicking. Whenever you hear that clicking, I just want to stop. That's the motor's reaching their max stall. And on the left of that is your awning switch. So you just hit that button. The awning will make its way out. You know your awning's fully extended when you see that little flap. When you see that the flap come out and the back of the metal tube, that's when you know you're fully extended. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get fully extended today, just for a little press for space. And there's the back of the metal tube and the flap I was telling you about. Now, come over here, see on the left, you just pulled it. If you ever start getting rain or you just want more shade, because you can do the same thing on both sides, you just pull down on this arm, it'll change the pitch of the awning head and change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to run off easier. And then whenever you bring the awning in, you just want to make sure that you set these bars back straight just so you don't bend anything. And whenever you're bringing that awning in, just making sure it's rolling itself the right way up, not trapping any water in there so you don't get any mold or staining or mildew. Now, whenever you have your awning out, if you ever notice the winds pick up to about 15, 20 kilometer an hour winds, you're going to want to bring your awning in. That way you don't tear the fabric or bend your arms. There we go. You know the awning's fully in and you hear that. And the motor stops. We'll take a step in the bedroom here. Your light switch is on your right. You have 2 USB charging ports on each side of the bed, as well as these nice little cupboards, which do have plug-ins. And there's a little access panel if you have a sleep app machine. There is no light above the bed, but over here you have your fire exit. To get into that fire exit, you're just going to pull this pin, screen will pop out. Take this handle, flip it out you go through the window. Right here, you do have a TV backer. You have your coax cable right above there, as well as 2 plug-ins for the TV. At your entertainment center, you have storage on each side of it. There's a TV backer here as well, and you just run those cables through this nice little rubber flap here. And in here, you'll notice you have your satellite and your cable inlet. This little green light indicates that the antenna is on. That with having that antenna on, it will also improve your radio frequency. If you don't want it on, you don't have to have it on. You have a plug-in. You are pre-wired for Wi-Fi. Entertainment center, simple, just like home. You know, you got a power button, skip, select, mode, volume up, volume down, mute, and then zone 1 and 2. Zone 1 is inside speakers. Zone 2 is outside speakers. You do have an aux port, USB port, and an HDMI port, as well as it has Bluetooth for your fireplace. Far right button turns it on. The button beside that changes your flame color. Center button changes your rock color. And then beside that, you get into your low fan and your high fan. Now that is with heat. An extra click just turns that off, and then you have a timer, so you can turn it anywhere from 30 minutes to 9 hours, I believe. And then to turn it off, you just hit that button on the right. The bed, it is a Versa Lounge. You have a light above the dinette and the bed. Now this dinette does fold into a bed as well. You do have those ledges there. You'll just pull the bottoms of the feet off the table. Sit that table there between those ledges. Take the back cushions, fill it in. This couch also turns into the bed. You'll just pick up the foot of the bed, allow it to fold out like that. You have a bed. To get that back in, you just pick up the foot of the bed, kind of grab the back of the couch, give that a little assist, slides back in nice and easy. This, you do have a bunch of different ways to run this area. This piece here does come out. It's got 2 metal feet, so you can either have it as the dinette, or you can turn it around and turn it into a lounging couch, just making sure that those feet go in the desired slots. Or you can leave it out completely, fold down that couch, and you have one big bed. We'll turn it around, turn it back into the... There's that little leg I was telling you about. Kitchen, hot and cold water with storage underneath, just being mindful of any drains or water lines you may come across. More storage above in the cupboards. Standard microwave, just like home. You do have a light and exhaust fan. Now, whenever you're running your stove, you are going to want to have that exhaust fan on, just because the stove does run on propane, so it'll evacuate all those fumes. To turn the stove on, you just turn those switches to high, hit it with the spark, and they come on. Now, whenever you do use the stove, always allow it to cool down before you fold the glass top back down. And whenever you're folding the glass top back down, just make sure you're nice and easy with it. That way it doesn't shatter. To turn the stove on, you do have to have the light on. This final switch here, you just turn it to the pilot light mode. Give it a second. As it does take a second for air to make its way out of the lines. And just hit that sparker, and eventually it will there you go. There's that pilot light I was telling you about. Give it a second. You can let go of the knob then, and then just turn it up to your desired temperature, and it'll light right up. Always turn that off. You can leave the pilot light on, but if you're not using the oven, I don't see any point in wasting the propane. Here you have your fridge. Now this is only a 12 volt fridge, or 110. It does not run on propane. Here you're going to find your thermostat. Before I get to that, I should show you that this is the main outlet for your AC. With these louvers open, it's going to dump all your air into the living space. Whenever you get to a campsite, first I always recommend just cooling off the main living area. Then you can close those louvers, and it'll move its air through the ducting in the ceiling, moving it around to each room. To run the thermostat, you just hit that button. It'll go fan low. Now that's just running the fan on low speed. And then you get to fan high, which is running the fan on high speed. And then you get into cool high when this is when you actually get air conditioning kick in on the high fan. And then you get to cool low, and now this is it running full time. And then you get to cool low auto, which is it turns into an on-demand system, so it'll kick in and out as needed as well. And then it's the same thing on cool high auto. And then you get into heat. When you're running heat, it's going to move all the air through any floor vents that we have in the unit here. You'll see two ducts right here. There should be one in the bedroom. And then, yeah. Just hit that button one more time, and it'll go to off. If you are running the furnace, just keep in mind, it does not turn off immediately. It runs for about 3 minutes as a safety precaution. You get to the bathroom, light switch on the left. You do have a medicine cabinet as well as your sink with some more storage. Just again, being careful of any water lines you see there. So any plugs near any sort of water, you do have a GFI plug. Whenever you have a socket that doesn't work, always be the first thing to do is just hit that reset button on this main GFI plug. Resets the breaker, and you should restore power. You have your shower with your swivel head, hot and cold water there, nice little shower screen. Over here, you just have nice little pantry, some storage space. Now in here, you get into the bunk room. All the lights in the bunk room are on their own center push button lights. Over here, you do have a TV backer in this wall, and here's your coax and your plug-in for it, as well as you have a USB beside there. These nice little hampers they include. Here you get to your converter. You have all your breakers and fuses. Whenever a breaker pops, it's going to sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on for it to reset itself. If you ever have a fuse that blows, you'll have a little red light beside it. That way you know which one blows. Just pull it out, replace it with a new one. These bunks do flip up, and they're just on their own little gas shocks. Oh, sorry, this one bunk flips up. It's on its own little gas shock. You do have a nice little bed underneath it, or a nice little couch underneath it, which does also turn into a bed. You just, the same thing in the living room, you just gotta pull that foot out, makes its way on out. And then you grab the foot again to fold it back in, same procedure, folds out. That's about it for this unit here. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call.